everybody. Welcome to Mansplaining, the show for guys by dudes. I'm Dave.
I'm Jacob.
Hey, what's up, man? Jacob, all the way in Phoenix, Arizona. I'm out here in Denver. We're keeping this party going. This toxic party is what we're doing. even though even though I don't consider myself to be a toxic person, but but then again, you know what? You haven't talked to all of my ex-girlfriends. They might say, yeah, that dude's totally fucking toxic. Jesus.
Same.
Yeah, right. Jake, how's things been going in Phoenix this past week? You finally got employed, which is great.
Yeah, I got employed, but it's like my employment has been like, like when those turtles are born,
Yeah,
and they come out of the egg, and they gotta like just make a dead sprint for the ocean. Or, you know what I'm saying? That's pretty much how my employment. It's like, hey, you're hired. By the way, here's a 14-hour shift you got to work, and again tomorrow, and again the next day. So yeah, it's been baptism by fire, but good money. So I'm gonna see how long this. I'm gonna roll with this as long as I can.
Is it just you, or is it you with somebody else moving shit?
No. Well, when I was training, it was me and another guy. This older Mexican guy named Francisco, who's this really nice guy, really sweet dude.
Cool.
He had a hell of a story. He's really big into electronics and stuff like that. I'm guessing by the sounds of it, because what he does, he probably has steady hands.
Right.
Yeah, because he's very good at soldering. So he worked in jewelry for a long time.
Oh, nice.
And then he also did a lot of electronic stuff. Like he's big into like repairing electronics. He's also good with cars and all that. And he's trying to like start businesses and stuff. But he was trying to be a doctor in Mexico. And then some shit happened that sucked. That this was just bad luck.
Oh, jeez.
And he couldn't do it, so he ended up moving to the States, just becoming like a, whatchamacallit, he just works a bunch. Now he's trying to like start a car business where he sells cars and stuff.
Oh, wow.
So, because he knows a lot about cars. Yeah, the guy's like all over the place. Like I was talking to him, and he's like, because like he worked like 4 or 5 days in a row, because it's only it's 4/10s I work. It's one of those jobs where it's 3 days off, 4 days on.
Right.
He told me that he also, outside of this, he does other stuff. He like helps his brother do this and helps another cousin do that. So he's like, I haven't had a day off in like 2 weeks.
Oh, wow.
So like yesterday was like our Friday,
Right.
And I look at it, and he's telling me, he's like, I'm gonna take these next 2 days off. I'm like, yeah, fucking yes. I get that you fucking want to work. I understand that completely. Like, like you want to make the money, you want to save up, you want to get your shit, but like at the same time, like, dude, take a day. Take at least 2, like 1 or 2. They take both. Go home and do whatever. But just fucking, have a day off.
Dude, ask him when you see him on Sunday.
Take a day off.
When you see him on Sunday, be like, hey, so how many days you take off? He'd be like, half a day. That's. He's got to keep going.
I read in a handful of these Mexicans. I don't know if you've ever met these guys before. The ones who hate Mexicans.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I hate to tell you. Yeah, the ones from up here who don't want anybody coming else from Mexico, they're like, dude, fucking build a wall, man. And they're like,
yeah. I read into one, and he was just bitching the whole time about how, man, he said, we had Trump, man, we wouldn't have this problem. We should have finished that wall. And this is coming from a dude who's like, last name is like Lopez and shit.
Oh, dude.
And I'm like, what?
I remember that. I was having a conversation. This is when I was living on the 12th Street in Tempe. And these girls from across the street, one of the girls was from New Mexico, and she's like, "We need to keep all these immigrants out of here." And she's like New Mexican, right? And it was pretty weird. I'm like, "What?" But it took me a long time. Not that I necessarily agree with that point of view, but to just see it from their point of view, and I was like, But it's not just because I think there are some reasons for it. Because everybody's got that one cousin they definitely don't want them to come back up to the States. But yeah, it was kind of crazy when folks would be like, when you hear folks who were like obviously Latino and they're like, yeah, we need to keep all these people out. I'm like, what, Canadians? What is it? But you can't really look at the racism angle when it's other Latinos, like American Latinos, wanting to keep other Mexican Latinos out. And you're like, well, it's not racism, so it's something else.
No, like even the guy that I was working with, because he's starting to do all this. He's trying to do all this business stuff. Like he's trying to do like start the car business. He's got a small electronics fix-it shop,
Mm.
kind of like a you break I fix type of place, like one of those places,
Right.
and all that stuff. And yeah, like he is complaining up and down about, man, I got to pay all these taxes, I got to pay all these fees to start the business, this and that. Like he's just going on, and I'm just like, and I'm just
Mm.
thinking, like he didn't say anything like political, but I'm like, I bet you anything you'd make a great libertarian.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Dude, there's plenty
hey,
of those
Don,
out there, especially in Phoenix, man. They all work in the tech industry, obviously. It was strangely enough. Most of the libertarians that I met were always these doughy guys. Like, I'm a doughy guy. I get that.
yeah,
But
same.
when you see like
Yeah.
other doughy guys who just have like that beard that's been growing ever since they were 18, that it kind of got to a point and stopped, it never quite filled in. They look like that dude from The Quartering, and just with that bobblehead thing. And
Yeah.
but yeah, they're like, yeah, dude, fucking, there's no need to have government. Like, dude, you don't leave the fucking house. What do you know about
Yeah.
fucking what the government provides in city services and all this other shit? You live in an island of your own cubicle. Shut up. There's other people out there that actually talk to other people. So,
Yeah, that's the thing about libertarianism that I've tried to wrap my head around, because there's some that are like anarcho-capitalist,
yeah,
which I kind of get. I understand the point and all that stuff, and I kind of am behind it. But there's some nuance to it that I don't know, man. Like I just
there's never been a political philosophy that I've been 100% on board, and it's
yeah.
yeah, you know, I just don't like people telling me what to do, even though part of my job is telling other people what to do, which is not fun. Like, I get the irony.
Yeah.
But I don't know. So let's see. Update. I told you about I went to the doctor, right? And
Yes.
to find out. So yeah, I've had like 2 tests so far, 2 blood tests, both testing testosterone, and both of them went all the way down. Like,
Oh,
yeah,
no.
yeah,
Okay.
exactly. Hey, what's up, Drewski? Yeah, we missed yesterday. We
Drew.
might move the show around a little bit. Um, so
Stay
yeah,
with us.
either way, I've got another appointment next Wednesday, and to see if I get a bro shot. Uh,
Oh,
so,
dude, I've heard some things about that. I mean, that's bad. It's not bad.
no,
It's
it's
just
gonna be
like,
freaking weird.
yeah, because like, who was it? Anthony Cumia, the guy from Opie and Anthony. He's like in his 50s. He's like in his mid-50s and shit.
Right.
He goes, dude, I took the shot. He goes, I took the shot for that, the fucking hormone shot.
Mm-hmm.
He goes, dude, for like the next like 2 years, I was jerking off like I was 15 again. It was fucking crazy. Like, I'm like, what? You know, so, you know, but.
Well, for me, I'm trying to see if it'll actually help as far as with not like it's a steroid going and like working out and everything, but as far as the recovery, because like I'll go work out and have a nice workout, but like I'll be freaking aching so much for the next couple of days, and it just never goes away, and I'm like, oh Jesus. So a lot of as far as things that it says that it can help with, I have those issues. So like as far as energy, weight gain stuff, the only thing, thankfully, it's not, you know, this is from an old guy freaking talking, because 45 is not old, but everybody, like the doctor's like, so do you have a problem with erectile dysfunction? I'm like, no, my dick still works. It's not nearly as often as I'd want it to. Like if I say, hey, come on, it's time to go, it'll go. But the whole idea is like, I'd rather just cuddle instead. You know, like stupid bullshit like that when you really need that testosterone to give you over the edge. So
it's not the fact that it works or not. It's the fact of if you want to use it.
yeah, it's
like
basically
yeah.
It's like having a really nice car that you don't feel like driving as much as you really should. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
It's not fun, but the whole idea. But she's like, "Are you sure?" I'm like, "No, I'm serious. My dick still works. All right, could you stop asking me about that?" You know, it's like I'm in a police interrogation when they're like, And so, how's your diet? Pretty good. Yeah, yeah. Does your dick still work? I'm like, yes. Oh, Jesus. All right, no, I'm just asking. Hey, do you want to see that movie Dune? Yeah, it was pretty good. Does your dick still work? And I'm like, yeah. What the fuck? You know. So they're just trying to get in on me, and I'm like, God damn it, just leave me alone. But either way, I'm excited about that. And let's see, other things as we're catching up here. The show's going pretty good. The one that I'm doing at the at Elitch's, and the not this past week, but the week before that was kind of rough because we had different ushers, and not putting this all on the ushers, but certain ushers tend to pick certain people, and so like this one night where it seemed like we always kept having Yeah, that's pretty much what Drew said. It's like, hey, wait a minute, you're getting a sex change. That's what you're saying? Yeah. See, this is why I don't say
he wants
anything
to get more
vulnerable.
stage. He wants to get more stage time in Denver. That's why
Yeah,
he's doing
exactly. Try to say no to me now, and then just go up there. Dude, if I transition and I go up and I just say nothing but horrible racist jokes that totally weren't funny, and they're like, try to cancel me, fucker. Um, so,
yeah.
no, so the folks that the volunteers, the 4 volunteers that they bring up on stage, um, you transition. I'm doing it with. um, there were all these like young kids who just wanted to fuck with the show. Like I'm trying to do the lines and stuff, and they're just heckling and they're just heckling. And I'm like, what? At this point where I'm like, I'm just only thing I can do is ignore them. And usually one of their parents will be like, Steven, shut up, and like you're ruining the show. So it was kind of rough. So I'm like, man, I don't know what to do because I want to yell at these kids and like, yeah, you could, but the thing is that you're gonna ruin the show if you do that. I'm like, yeah, all right. So this past weekend, different ushers, and they're bringing in folks who don't want to be on the show, which is exactly the type of person that I want because
Yeah.
they're going to be more receptive to being scared. You know what I mean? Because they're like, oh, geez, what's going on? And we just had awesome yeah, flavors. Just everyone, Drew's like, yeah, they just wanted everybody in the audience to pray for this kid's death. Um, so like, man, at some point, like, I don't know, it was just one night we did 9 shows. So that's just one after the other, one after the other. That's like 6 hours of just nonstop performing and stuff and different crowds coming in. And there was, I forgot what show it was. It was either 6:30 or the 7:10. But it was young teenage girls and stuff, and they had a good time. The show went off well, and then as I'm leaving, walking down the fairway and stuff at the end of the evening, I could see the girls coming. Sometimes people recognize me, sometimes they don't. But these girls were still talking about the show, and their dad was with them. Dad's a Latino guy. He's got all his jewelry on, he's freaking tatted up and everything. And he just comes up. He's like, "Dude, it was a wonderful job. Thank you so much, man. Thank you so much." I'm like, yeah, these girls don't want to hang out they're not going to want to hang out with their dad like in another year. You know what I mean? Because they were just at that age, that 11, 12, 13-year-old age. And this is probably one of the last times he's going to really freaking be able to do this for them. And they're still going to kind of get to be kids and everything. And I was like, man, I'm really glad I did this. It sounds fucking hokey as shit, but how long is each show and what time you start doing the shows? The shows are about 15 minutes, Drew. 15 to 20 minutes is the actual show. But then, getting folks loaded in is like 5 to 10 minutes, and then resetting is another 5. So it just seems like once it starts, it doesn't stop for the end of the evening. So, but yeah, it's been really cool. Like I got something. There are no small parts, only small actors. Yeah, or that also everybody upstage. You're always going to get upstaged by either a dog or a kid, and that's what.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do? They paid their money, so I'm getting paid. So whatever. Um, But shout out to Brett Podisk, by the way, who he's the one who posted that part or that audition on Facebook, and I'm like, holy shit. So, but yeah, that shit was going pretty well, man. I'm excited about it. So I got one more week left. I'm gonna be like, man, I'm gonna be so tired, but at the same time, I know I'm gonna miss it when it's over on that last performance, and I'm like, all right, typical theater shit. So, So aside from the job, man, how's everything going with your nieces and nephews and all that other good stuff out there?
Oh, they're good. They're 3-year-olds, so I get woken up I have to wake up early anyway, so it's not a big deal. I'm not complaining about it. It's actually a good thing in a weird way. I get to wake up at like 5:15 in the morning to my 2 little nieces yelling, "I don't want to go to school!" Like screaming it.
5:15, holy shit, man.
Yeah, my sister-in-law, Christina, who's my brother's at work because he works nights and shit, so he's not home for that. So like I'll wake up and she'll be like, "I'm so sorry." I'm like, "No, actually, they're like the ultimate like alarm for me. Like if I start hearing that, get the fuck up. Like I gotta go to work."
Right.
So it's not a bad thing, but like that shit will wake up the fucking dead. Like I had today off, so I was like, no alarms, no nothing. I'm just sleeping.
Mm-hmm.
And out of habit, I woke up not because of them, but at that time I just woke up, and then about 2 minutes later, before I could go back to bed again, I like went to the bathroom, lay back down, the moment I like heard that voice, I don't want to go. That's when I was like, okay, I know exactly what time it is. It's 5:15. Okay, I'm gonna lay back down and go back to sleep. And I did. It was totally fine.
Right.
But like, it was a weird vibe to feel like sleeping till 9 a.m. was sleeping in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Me, like 2 weeks ago, I'm sleeping till fucking noon. Like I was turning into that guy.
I haven't slept that long in a long time, man. It's
yeah,
it's fucking nuts.
Yeah. So, but no, I mean it's okay. Like, at the moment I'm just working. I'm gonna try and hit a mic or two next week when I get some money together. It's one of those things where like I'm not broke, but like I'm broke. You know, I can't really do anything right now.
Yeah.
Give me like a week or so of paychecks that are gonna look real nice because of overtime.
Yeah.
I'll be able to like, do stuff. So, but I'll figure it out. I'll see what's going on after after a few mics, and then I might make a few trips because I forgot because I'm living in Denver. Like you're fucking miles away from everything.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot how close I am to like Vegas, fucking LA, all that shit. And I got 3 days off, so I could literally drive there, spend a day, and then drive back and not use any vacation time. None of that shit.
Dude, 410s is freaking. That's the shit. That's the ideal schedule. Yeah. I'm gonna try to see if I could talk my boss into giving me that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and I'm like, yeah, I want to. Can you do that? It'd be like, fuck you. If I didn't get in 410s, you ain't getting 410s. And I'm like, all right, fair enough, I guess, but yeah.
Yeah, but that's probably what I'm gonna do. I'll probably do that like around like I'll probably do it like on like probably sometime around like November-ish when I get to like early like mid-November, not Thanksgiving obviously, but like I'm sorry, not that. I'll probably do it after Thanksgiving, probably like the first or second week of December. I'll probably make a trip somewhere, maybe Vegas, maybe LA, because I got some friends in LA, comic friends that I just like would like to just hang out with, just for like a week, like not a week, but like a weekend, like a couple days, like drive out there, spend the night, spend the whole day, and then the third day drive back.
Be worth it, man. Cool. Yeah, totally.
And hotels are cheap now, I'd imagine. So,
Yeah, it's rental cars that aren't.
Oh, I'm not gonna rent a car. Yeah, that's not happening.
No, it's one of those things. Because we're thinking about like, what if we flew to Vegas and I just rented a car? Because like hotels will be cheap just because Jenny can get awesome rates and stuff because of she works at a hotel. But fucking. I remember the one time I went down. The last time we rented a car, and I think I spent $300 for a week. You know what I mean? Which was great if you added up Ubers and all the other stuff. What you would spend, it was fucking great. And over there now, just for the same thing, I'm like, yeah, that'll be $600. I'm like, fuck you. No. I can go to Phoenix and buy a fucking $500 junker and stuff, and just try to hobble along with that for a week and just abandon it on the side of the road and be like, yeah, okay, we're done. But hey, I'm gonna plug a bad idea here.
Go ahead.
So, I don't know if I'm actually gonna put a hashtag up there. I don't know if this will actually help.
This could be a thing. This could be like a running gag on the show. Hashtag I want to pitch a bad idea.
Exactly. Let's do this. I'll just put hashtag bad idea as well. Okay, so the it's like I've been dabbling in investing and stuff since the whole retail market kind of opened up. Like you can buy stock through the Cash App, and you could also buy like crypto through this site called Coinbase, right? Coinbase, it's a great freaking app on your phone because it also not only does it teach you on specific types of cryptocurrencies. Between that, if you really spend some time, like if you rather than just sit on your phone and going through scrolling through Facebook and stuff, you go through Reddit and also different subreddits and stuff about different cryptos. So let's see if the money's gone down again. It probably has, but one of the cryptos that I bought into a couple of weeks ago was called the Shiba Inu crypto.
I heard about this.
Yeah. So when I bought it, okay, this thing is like insanely freaking cheap. It's like this is such a long shot, right? Like right now, when I bought it, it was 0.00002762 of a cent, right? So like you buy like $10 and you're like, why do I have like 50,000 of these coins and stuff, right? So overall I kept putting some money into it. I got up to about like $92 and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna stop because I can live if that goes away. Like if that investment dries up in like 6 months or something like that, I'm like, all right, you know, it was worth a shot. I gave it a shot.
Yeah.
So in the past couple, like it's down today. It's down like 20% today, but this thing rose so fucking much. Like right now, it's at 0.00006450. So, like even though it's dropped like 20%, right? I invested $92. I now have like a little over 200. So the whole idea is that folks are like, this. It's all pipe dream shit, right? It's a meme
Yeah.
stock. The only thing, if everybody keeps talking about it, and the more it goes on sale, the more places, more people invest in it, and then the price goes up and stuff. And then, but the thing is, like, unless businesses start actually accepting Shiba coin or our puppies, that's what I call them. Because the Shiba Inu is a type of Japanese hunting dog, and it looks kind of like a chubby fox, basically. But
Yeah.
um, so either way, I'm like, all right, well, Dogecoin eventually rose above a penny. Like the people who got in on Dogecoin or Bitcoin and stuff like that are sitting pretty well right now. Like Dogecoin is only trading like 29 cents, but if you got in it at when it was 0.00001 whatever like that, you made a shitload of money. So
Yeah.
what I'm folks like I am going to hold on. And the link in the chat room and stuff that I put in there is a link to download the Coinbase app if you guys want to learn more about it. And you can sign up through that, and then you can buy crypto, Ethereum, Dogecoin, Graph, a bunch of other different types of cryptos for use for different things. The way that I see it, by the way, this is very risky. Like if you go and like, hey, dude, I put all my rent into Shiba Coin, and now I fucking lost money. Well, good, you deserve it because why did you fucking do that? Why you just gambled
Yeah.
on that? You could have done the same thing. You've gone down and buy a bunch of lotto scratchers with that, and you probably would have had the same fucking effect on it.
It's probably better.
Yeah,
I
probably
would
would
make
have
more
been
money.
better and stuff. But the whole idea is that I think the crypto economy, like right now, we're in the fucking wild west of the crypto economy days, and I think the more you learn about it now, the better off you're going to be in about 20 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, because I think what's going to be harder is for like countries and their treasuries and stuff like that to really kind of hold a monopoly on currency when now there's these currencies that aren't beholden to any particular type of government. Now, granted, it's beholden to the people who hold the most, which is usually hedge funds and shit like that. Don't get me wrong, it's not like this is utopia or whatever, but I think it's better to get an idea of what it is now and learn about it now instead of waiting until you're fucking 60 and then like, what is with this crypto? You know? So either way, that's my bad idea of the week. Is everybody freaking go check that out? Freaking, if you got $20, you got something like, all right, I got $20. What can I do to make this $20 grow? And then like, all right, I'm gonna look and start looking at particular. It's kind of like when you first went to an open mic and you wanted to watch a couple before you went up, and you're like, okay, well this one seems to go up and down. I'm looking at how it tracks and stuff. I'm gonna invest, $10 in this, and on top of that, the Coinbase app is it'll teach you about specific cryptos and they'll give you a couple of bucks worth of that crypto just for learning about it. So at some point, like, oh,
Gotcha.
here's $3 of this one, here's another $3 of this other one and stuff, and you're like, okay, well, I'm gonna trade a transfer or trade that into Shiba, and thank you very much for the free, for the money. So, but yeah,
Yeah.
definitely worth checking out, guys, for anybody who's watching or listening to this on the yeah, because we get more listeners from our Spreaker page than we do from Twitch.
Okay.
Yeah, the only person I'm pitching this to right now is Drew, but
Yeah. Oh, Drew.
yeah. So okay, so let's see here. Topics for the title of this episode is the only thing we have to fear is fear. So this is something I figure that is probably good for young men who are trying to achieve something, and let's say like it's a little bit difficult if you had a dad who was like a doctor or like successful businessman and stuff. You had somebody who's already gone through and already freaking overcome these obstacles. But if you have like a dad that always worked for somebody else or parents that always worked for someone else that have never been able to conquer or get over these things of like fear of success or being their own boss, that whole type of thing, an entrepreneur spirit or being successful in general, um, then it's way more difficult to freaking come by because you didn't see it growing up. You know,
Yeah.
I always wonder like how come rich kids always stay rich? I'm like, well, it's because if they have really driven parents and stuff, they learn specific skills from those, and they're like, oh, that's and they do have a leg up on that. It's not necessarily because of their money; it's because how they're raised and the examples that they've seen. Doesn't necessarily mean that everything's perfect for them. They might have, parents that hate each other. So when it comes to relationships, they'll be like, I know how to make $1,000,000, but how the hell do you make, how do you date somebody for more than a week without freaking getting a fight? Like, what do you mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Should be pretty easy. As a matter of fact, that's way easier than freaking making $1,000,000. How did you not, you know,
Yeah.
how did you fucking not do that? So, um, it's weird. This is kind of goes along the subject of fear, but one of my coworkers, a young guy, nice guy, got into a road rage incident and almost got in a fight and really, really freaked him out. And I'm like, well, I was like, yeah, well, I flipped him off because when he cut me off, and I'm like, okay, well, that alone instigated a fight right there. Him cutting you off is
Yeah.
one thing, but you had a choice whether to be like, all right, whatever, buddy, or freaking you give in to that. But the thing is, once you go down that path, it just kind of it just keeps freaking
Yeah.
accentuating. I told him the story of L.A. and said back in the late '80s, there was a lot of road rage incidents on the because traffic was getting really bad, even worse than it is now and stuff. And this is before they had all the freeways that and people just started getting really crazy, and then they started shooting at each other on the freeway. Like every day for a summer, there was a story about somebody like another freeway shooting of people just unloading clips onto people, and obviously people getting hurt and stuff. I don't know if there's any murders, but there's definitely freaking people got shot. And then after that, everybody
Yeah.
started being a little bit more cordial. Not happy, but just a little bit more cordial.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's kind of like, well, yeah, it's because you got to be careful, man. Because he really
People don't
got,
want to get. They don't want to get shot.
yeah.
No, we're dealing with that here in Phoenix. There's been like 7 or 8 of them in the past month.
Oh yeah, dude. Oh, you know what else? Phoenix is really bad about parking spaces too. You accidentally park in somebody's spot, you think that you just like sexually assaulted the entire family. You know what I mean? They get really really freaking weird about that. They're very
Okay,
territorial.
fair enough.
Yeah. So okay, so things I wrote down here and stuff I was going to talk about, like okay, fear of success, um, fear of failure, fear of losing yourself in evolution, fear of letting go of the past and losing a part of your identity, um, counting your blessings that don't always come in a nice package. Okay, I'm going to start with that last one.
Okay.
So there's somebody that I met over the past couple of weeks that I don't really know very well. We didn't start off on the right foot. So I don't really know this person, don't know them as a person, right? But there was something about them like that really irked me. And I know it's kind of weird me finding somebody that I don't like at a job. It's weird.
Weird.
It, it kind of leads me to where I'm getting at here. But this person always, when they're walking around, they look like they're about to punch somebody. And I'm like,
Oh.
oh, now I know why I don't like this person. It was like, it's not because they're freaking angry all the time. It's because it's like looking in a mirror of myself. And
Okay.
I have allowed myself to go down this path in so many, like, I remember my dad complaining about his coworkers all the time. He was always just really pissed off about him. And I'm like, well, why don't you do something about it? But that was his thing. He was always used to, just constantly complaining. So maybe I thought that was just an acceptable thing that men, that adults do. But the whole idea was like, oh, the reason why I don't like seeing that in that person is because that mirrors my own. I don't necessarily act that way while I'm at that particular job, but at my day job, I've definitely acted that way quite a bit to the point where I had to apologize to somebody, one of my other coworkers, a few weeks back, just because I was making their life a living hell. It was like they didn't know what was going to happen or if I was going to freaking unleash on them all the time. And that's not who I wanted to be, but that's who I was, and that's what I was being. So I'm like, huh. So I'm counting that blessing that I was like, oh, so that's what I look like. Okay. Because
Yeah.
sometimes your blessings that come to you, like it's not always something you want to see. Like, freaking great.
Well, yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, the thing too, also like what.
Oh, I think we might have.
No, hold on a second. We're
Yep.
good. We're back. Sorry,
Okay, no worries.
my phone is being goofy.
Oh,
No, that's nail on the head on that one. Because of me, I know exactly what you're saying because I run into that too. Like if I if I see a dude, if I'm like dealing with a guy who's very like up in your face, and kind of like posturing in a way and
Mm-hmm.
acting like he's a big bad motherfucker, like I'm awesome. I think the reason why I hate that shit, why I viscerally hate that shit,
Mm-hmm.
is because I think I do it,
Mm-hmm.
and I hate that I do it.
Right.
So when I see other people do it, I'm like, ugh, get that shit the fuck away from me.
Right.
Because I know that there's times when I do it and I don't like when I do it. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like
Oh yeah.
yeah, and shit like that. And also guys that are just super sensitive about stuff.
Mm.
I don't like that because I think it's because I am like that. Like I'm, as much as I might be like, Mr. East Coast guy over here, that kind of shit.
Yeah.
I am a bit of a sensitive dude. I'm not gonna lie. It's just part of my deal. I guess I just gotta deal with that.
I get that too. Sometimes when I
So
see somebody is overly sensitive, and I'm like, listen, dude, you got to friggin' sack up. You know why? Because you're starting to remind me of myself, and I don't want to look at it. So either you get stronger, or get the fuck out of here. Like,
yeah, right.
one of us has got to go, and guess what? Since you're the one who's crying, it might as well be you. And like, oh,
Yeah.
that's not being
Well,
a
instead of
freaking.
fighting, and it's like you feel like if you were to fight that guy, it'd be the equivalent of you punching a fucking mirror. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because like you're fighting him because he reminds you of you, and that's
yeah.
why. You know what I'm saying? That's
Was it?
that's what a lot of people don't like. I see it a lot with people actually,
Yeah.
including myself. So
Well,
yeah,
this is a good time for it, definitely. Oh, Drew says the older he gets, the less of that bullshit he can put up with. Like, you just handle it in a different way. Um,
yeah,
yeah, I think, well, the thing is so funny now is that everybody has got their own reality. Everybody is now, could perceive the news and information in the world the way that's more digestible for them. So everybody, in a way, has become more isolated. And
yeah,
so this is I think that's a good message to kind of get out there. Is like, no, this is going to get worse the more isolated you get, the more things that you see in other people that reflect your own shit, the more you're going to kind of
yeah.
freaking lash out at it. And you're like, oh well, that's only going to push people farther and farther away from you, I guess. But yeah, let's see. Oh, so fear of success and there's a lot of this stuff actually come when I was because this is all stuff I was going to talk about on the Disjointed podcast, and I probably still will. But fear of success, and for me, it's always like I was talking to Jenny the other night, and the that story that I told you about the father that stopped me and on the way out of the park and said, "Hey man, thank you so much. You did a great job." I go, it's so weird that I always assume that like as far as my ego is concerned, that I'm going to be really, really, really great at what I do someday. But that's a day that's far off in the future. I never look at what I'm doing right now. You know what I mean? Because the version of me that's really successful in the future isn't the same me. It's always kind of like it's somebody else. It looks
Yeah,
like me, has a couple of things, but he's got way better habits and stuff and he's got his life together and stuff, but it's not me. You know what I mean? So I've kind of separated these two aspects of how I perceive myself, present Dave and then future Dave. Now the problem is even though future Dave looks freaking awesome and he's got everything going for him, the thing is, in order to get to future Dave, I have to give up being present Dave.
yeah,
You know what I mean? And that's the part it's kind of like, oh, that's where that fear kind of comes in, where I'm like, oh, I don't want to stop being me. And I'm like, well, being you doesn't always freaking work on everything you do, and you're gonna have to change. And I'm like, I don't know if I want to do that. Uh, what was it? Drew says, if it always seems to me that if people can get me angry or react in a certain way, then maybe I'm letting them control me. So I try not to let anybody else's attitude affect my world negatively, which is true. There was a joke in there somewhere, Drew, but I'm not gonna reach for it right.
no,
uh,
it's not.
what was it? Drew
but
says, I don't think it's true that you have to give up any part of yourself to become future Dave. I think you would come through today by being who you are now and staying that way's habit aside. No jokes, just trying to be a little serious. I know I get that, Drew.
yeah,
But it's our family tradition when somebody really opens up, you got to freaking stick a needle right in where it's really tender and salty. Uh, but I'm sorry I cut you off. What were you saying, man?
oh no, no, no. I feel that I understand what you're saying. It's like with this new job I got, right?
Mm,
Like I'll be making some decent money, probably the best money I think I've made in a long time. But the problem is that and I have a plan now to get myself kind of back to where I need to be financially. That is.
Right.
But like I didn't. It's one of those things I didn't want to do it. Once I saw like how hard this was going to be, I was like, fuck this.
Yeah.
But then I took a day, took a day off, and then I was like, all right, let me recalibrate my brain because like this will be the big one. That this will fucking help a lot, and like this could literally change everything. Like within about a year or two, I could be, be able to do what the fuck I want to do, and not be tied down by like student loans and shit like that.
Yeah.
And have all that shit gone, have all of it out of my life.
Right.
But it's one of those things where like I was afraid of like all the work it's gonna take. That's part of it too. Like I know that like because there's comics out there that like I hit the you can tell people tell that some comics go out to a lot of mics and it helps. It helps them immensely. But like and it becomes successful. But like do you want to go to like fucking 300, 400, 500 open mics or mics in general in a year? I mean, yeah, but like the actual work to do it, you're like, I don't know, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like after a while, you're like, I can't go to that one. I can't do it. All of a sudden, you find yourself falling behind, and then you're like, well, I'll never be as good as him. So you're afraid of that step.
Yeah.
It's
really bizarre. What I've been finding is, like, I was so excited and scared when I got that part. And I'm like, it's so funny because I wanted to fucking kick myself on the dick for this one, where I'm like, I started getting really nervous. I didn't want to do it. I'm like, motherfucker, this is something you've wanted to do for a long time. You've gotten what you wanted. Like, I've got a job with the schedule that I want. I've got opportunities that actually come my way. Now it's my job to freaking capitalize on them and actually go forward. So all this time that I kept thinking, man, if I could only get a break, if something would only come my way. And it finally did. And then what do? I flinch. I mean, I did it eventually, but it's one of those things where I'm like, and it's like, holy shit. So now I've got a little this taste of success. I'm like, all right, now it's time to move out forward and stuff like, and see what happens, see how it's going to change, see how I'm going to react, because you can always think about how you're going to react in a fight, but until you actually get in a fight, you're not going to know. So it's one of those things where I can think about how I'm going to react to these particular opportunities and stuff, but I'm not going to really know until I actually do it. So that's something to kind of keep in mind, guys, is that you're never going to, I won't speak for the young guys who are watching this or who are listening to this and stuff on, probably in India, I'm guessing. There's never a time where I'm not going to feel afraid. You know what I mean? There's always going to be time where there's going to be it's kind of like when we're doing stand-up. There's never a time where I'm not nervous. And if it is, I'm probably going to eat shit if I'm not nervous before I go up. You know what I mean? So it's about like learning how to conquer that and work through it, as opposed to like hoping that there's going to be some perfect pitch that comes right down the center, right when, there's 3 on base and you have a chance to freaking hit a grand slam. Yeah, that's probably not going to happen. You're going to have to put in the work. So, what was Drew said? That's how momentum works. It's hard to get started, but once you're rolling, you're good to go. Yeah, for me, I was really good at getting momentum going and then stopping it immediately. So I'm like,
oh yeah, man. Oh God, yes. I feel you.
Yeah. Yep. Let's see. Fear of failure. That was the next one. That one's all ego, though. You know what I mean? That one I've been able to get across pretty easily. As far as the fear of failing, it was success that I was more afraid of because I already know how to fail. I've done that plenty of times. That's something that's comfortable for me, but I didn't want it to be like, oh, I could wear it like a comfy blanket now. I'm like, no.
No. I mean, I don't like failing at all, but that's the thing. It's like doing stand-up and, putting yourself out there, like stand-up or, acting or anything like that. You've got to learn how to be able to absorb that kick to the fucking face.
Yeah.
And that's what you got to be able to fucking feel that, but also learn from it, which, I mean, I try to, and I think you too, but trying to avoid failure. If you're trying to avoid failure, you've never done stand-up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You never have. Because, like, dude, I mean, the first year and a half, the first, like, 2 or 3 months of stand-up when I was doing it full-time, back in New England and shit, back in Maine and New Hampshire, I did okay. I did good for a new guy.
Yeah.
For the first 2 or 3 months. And then I fell off a cliff because I that was all shit I thought about for, like, my entire life.
Yeah.
and it was kind of funny, and then it stopped working, and then I was like, well, what do I do now? And I'm trying to work it out. And then over about a year and a half stretch of that, I was just, I mean, going places repeatedly,
Yeah.
eating. I mean, I would have the occasional good show, but like, it wasn't clicking. But I kept on going there and you just get a bat to the face every like 4 or 5 times a fucking week in different locations, like all over the greater part of New England. I'm getting fucking kicked in the mouth because I suck at this, but I keep on going. But like, it's not a fear of failure. It's one of those like getting comfortable with it. Don't get comfortable with it. Like, be okay with it happening. It's gonna happen because you're trying new shit. But yet, don't just wallow in it.
Oh, totally.
Don't make it normal. But don't be afraid of it. I don't think me or you are really afraid of it. It's not that at all.
Yeah, that part, it was just, I think I get afraid of getting used to it. Drew says it can be scary to let momentum move you in a direction that you're going. They could seem like you don't have any control over it, and it could be maybe why you stop sometimes, why I stop sometimes, I guess. But I've learned to kind of go with the flow on the momentum and just see how far it's going to take me. Yeah, I think it's easier as we get older, Drew, because I'm like, at this point, what the hell, why not?
Yeah.
But yeah, this other one, Drew's going to know what I'm talking about on this one. Fear of letting go of the past and losing a part of your identity. This is something I wish I would have gotten a hold of when I was younger, because for me, my identity was getting my heart broken and being emotionally distraught over everything. And
emo as fuck, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, super fucking emo as fuck. I fucking listened to Morrissey and The Cure nonstop, man. I remember, like, it's the pain I got. It's one of those things where I got too used to that failure, and I got so used to feeling that way that I didn't know how. I didn't have the tools, to really look at it and adjust. You know what I mean? And correct myself. I mean, I eventually figured it out. Yeah, not before emo was cool, so it was kind of sad.
Trailblazer, man.
Dude, kind of sad. I was trailblazing emo before emo was emo. But the whole thing is that I got so used to it that when it came time to, I'm like, okay, you've been really sad about this breakup for over a year and a half now, Dave, which is weird because you only dated her for 2 months. Like, at this point, you're trying to, dude. It was the truth.
I'm laughing because I've done the same shit. So go ahead.
Yeah, and so like at this point, okay, have you learned your lessons? And I'm like, and intellectual wise, I knew where I had gone wrong. But the thing is I kept repeating that same stuff because I was so used to that pain, and there was so much a part of me that I couldn't imagine myself without it. And I thought that's what was the driving force of keeping me creative about a lot of things, and it really, really wasn't. It was just basically self-flagellation. It was kind of like how you're an artist and you think you're being creative, but you're just being emo. Like, I didn't actually create any work until I started painting, and then I actually had something that I could look at and be like, oh, look, I did that, whatever. But yeah, it's really, like, there's definitely a mourning period if something bad happens, like somebody, like a loved one passes away, or you get fired from a job that you really liked, or you have a bad breakup with, whether it's a girlfriend or just an argument with one of your other friends. Of course, there's a mourning period, but at some point you got to let that go. You know what I mean? And we're be like, oh, hey, look, this is a merit badge. I'm going to stick it on my chest here, and like, somebody comes up and says, hey, I see you got fired yesterday, right? You got the fired badge. You got best friend stole from you. You got the breakup badge, and I'm like, yeah. Yeah, this is me, man. Let's fucking wear it like a brownie shirt or a brownie sash or some shit. But it's like, hey, do you decide not fucking walking around with all that pain on your shoulder anymore? I'm like, I already got the sash. You know what I mean? So I might as well keep wearing it. I'm like, I don't know, bro. Time to let that shit go. But yeah. But yeah, that was a big different fear. And that always comes back to identity, right? Like, not wanting to be anything different than what you are right now, instead of, whether letting momentum take you forward, or if it's just like, hey, I got to make a change. You know what I mean? And I got to take a chance on myself, I guess. It sounds like a bunch of fucking greeting cards what I'm talking about now. I'm like, yeah, go with the flow. Here's a greeting card. You know what I mean? Believe in yourself. Yeah, shut the fuck up. You know.
Yeah.
Don't worry. Be happy. I'm gonna punch you now. You know, like. But yeah, that's pretty much I think all the notes that I had on fear. Is there anything? I don't know if you have anything you want to add there. I know Drew's probably going to chime in here in a second.
Okay. No. I mean, basically, like, I don't know. It's hard. It's hard. It's a hard thing to kind of wrap your head around because, like, as far as like, it's. I don't know. I'm not really sure
Fair.
about like anything else. Like, no, but like, it's just like you're always trying to always try to be like more in tune with yourself than you were yesterday. Always
Right.
kind of keep that up. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's what you got to do. It's like it's because if you're having issues, like I remember like this morning, or actually this afternoon.
Oop.
Uh-oh.
Sorry about that. Scam
Oh,
likely fucking trying to get me again.
God damn it. No, my brother lost a fucking Bluetooth earbud thing, which I don't know why he keeps on fucking buying those. He's fucking losing them. But he couldn't find it. He's like freaking the fuck out. And I'm like, and I'm not above that. Trust me. I've watched it and just been like, what the fuck? And, but I was like, yo, man, like, what'd you have with us? He starts yelling at me. I was like, all right, cool. Listen, you're going to stop fucking doing that. You're going to take a fucking 5-minute break. You're going to go do what the fuck you got to do. And then you're going to come back to me and you're going to ask me this shit again. And if you yell at me again, you can go fuck yourself. And he's just like, okay. And then that was it. And then he came back. He's like, he still had that energy of like, fucking, he's annoyed. And I don't blame him. I fucking hate losing shit too. But he wasn't like fucking breathing fire at me about it.
Yeah.
Which is what I was starting to get kind of pissed about. Like, I understand, like, in the past, I've been like that. And that's why I wasn't, like, super pissed about it. I wasn't like, fuck you, dick. And nothing like that. I was just like, because I'd be a hypocrite. You know what I mean? You can't fucking get, you know what I'm saying? Because the shoe was on the other foot not too long ago, trust me.
Yeah.
But, like, I was just like, man, your blood pressure will thank you, and your brain will thank you if you just get the fuck out of this headspace. Because you're just a ball of rage because you can't find something, and that does not help you find anything. Nobody said, hey, man, I lost my keys, but then I punched a hole in the fucking wall, and guess what?
The keys were in there.
I found my keys.
Yeah.
Yeah, the keys. Yeah, like it's.
Which one of you dicks put my keys on the wall?
Yeah, which one of you silly geese put that? Oh, you.
But
like, it's just it doesn't help.
Right.
You gotta figure out find out what helps you be a better you. That's basically what this is.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying? And I struggle with shit all the time. Like I hate the fact that I smoke cigarettes. Fucking been trying to quit. I think I've tried to quit 5 times since I fucking lived here. To the point where, like, I remember one night I had fucking 15 cigarettes in a pack one night when I was going to bed. Threw the motherfuckers away because I was like, I'm gonna quit tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know what I did at 3 o'clock in the afternoon the very next day? Went and bought a pack of fucking cigarettes.
Yeah.
I mean, like, so it's everyone has a few things in their lives that they can't fucking just seem to fucking crack. And but keep on trying, man. You never know. One of these days it will click. But like, just try to like, just whatever bullshit like around the edges stuff that you can fix it. Because it will help you with actually confidence of like, oh, well, I had a hard time quitting this. I did that, so I shouldn't have, I get that ability, that confidence of like, oh, I could do this shit.
Right. Oh, totally.
That's easier said than done. That's easier said than done, obviously. But like, it's a good mindset to be.
Right.
So.
I think it's a good place to round third on there, man. That's freaking awesome. That I think my internet connection is getting kind of wonky here. So let's see as we're closing out here, man. The only thing I have to push is the website CO Open Mics and phxopenmics.com. PHX, that's the Phoenix Open Mics page for any open mics that are going on in Phoenix. If you guys know if there's any mics out there that's not on the list, please hit me up on Facebook. I'll be more than happy to put it on there. Same thing with the CO Open Mics. That's the Colorado Open Mics. I got shit on there for Durango. I don't even know if that shit's still going on, but you know what I mean? Put them on there. Everybody needs to know. Get out of town. Go fucking do comedy another place, man. Learn, get better. So Yeah, that's the only thing I got to that and the Coinbase thing. But other than that, man,
Yeah.
which by the way, I'll put the link in the liner notes of this podcast episode. Anything you're plugging at all, or?
Yeah, if you buy ready fresh foods from the internet or Ready Plate, and you see me delivering your food,
Yeah,
throw me a $5 or something, or hug me. I'm
there
having
you
a
go.
bad day.
He needs a hug. They'll
Only
take
the
a look
Phoenix
at you
area
and they'll be
accept
like,
local
I don't
delivery.
know, maybe I got $5. I don't want to hug you. You're like, oh, all right. Can't say that it doesn't hurt, but whatever. Yeah. All right, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks, Drew A's. Thanks for everybody on Twitch. We're dropped in. Thanks for everybody on Spreaker. We'll catch you next week. We might be moving the dates around a little bit, but I'll try to post that on the Mansplaining page on Facebook. Go take a look at it there. Give us a like. That would be great. And I think that's about it. Signing off for Mansplaining. I'm Dave.
I'm Jake.
Stay toxic, everybody.
Yeah. Bye, Drew.